Good afternoon. This afternoon, we're going to work on a reading and writing exercise. It's from a reading excerpt from an environmental reading on a website called the English Club. And so you can follow along with me on the screen, or if you would prefer to put this on your iPhone, you can do that also. Um, it's entitled theenglishclub.com Reading Environment. And the one that we want is the disappearing honeybee. You're going to need a couple of things for this. You need some 3x5 cards, which you're supposed to be carrying with you all the time to add new vocabulary. Also, when we get to the writing part of this, hopefully you are already set up for Google Docs so that you can share your work with your partner. What we're going to do today, and then we'll finish this tomorrow, is first we're going to read an article about an environmental issue, which is the disappearance of honeybees. We're going to work on vocabulary. Third, we're going to take a reading comprehension quiz. We'll do it for practice here in class, and you can do this with your partner and correct each other's work. Tomorrow I'll give you the same quiz for real so you can really learn the vocabulary. And also I'm going to ask you to write a short paragraph explaining the article. By short, I mean it's going to be 4 sentences. The topic sentence is, we should care about the disappearance of honeybees because, and then you will give 3 complete sentences about why we should care. And tomorrow for a grade, we will take the quiz, and then you will submit your essay. I also would encourage you to share your essay with your partner on Google Docs so that you can look for misspellings and grammar problems on each other's work. Okay, first of all, what got my attention about the disappearance of honeybees is what happened to me a couple of years ago in my own garden. I had a big, beautiful, healthy garden, and when I harvested it and cut open the squash and the cucumbers, they were just empty gourds. There was nothing there. And so I took them to the county extension where they help farmers and they help gardeners, and they said that they had never been pollinated and that we didn't have enough honeybees in this area. And since then, I've found numerous articles about the disappearance of honeybees. So before we read the article, I'd like for you first to turn to the second page where it has the vocabulary, and we're going to do the vocabulary together. If you know the word and you want to answer it for the class, raise your hand. If you do not know it, on your 3x5 card, and you should be keeping these all the time, write the word and write its definition. Okay, let's look at the words. Allergic. If you are allergic to something, what has happened? Carlos. It stings. For some people, it's worse than stinging. They can get a rash. Anybody else? Sammy? It's okay. It can affect their breathing. So an allergic reaction is serious. Climate change. This is on the news a lot. what is meant when somebody says climate change, and that's one of the reasons that's given for the disappearance of honeybees. Carlotta, it means that scientists think that everything is getting hotter. Okay. Anna? And some people say the winters are getting colder. It's becoming more extreme. And some people think the extremes are causing the disappearance of honeybees. Okay, and then we will go through the rest of a relatively long list of vocabulary words. One I'd like to call your attention to is the word skyrocket. You might guess the meaning if it says that the price of food will skyrocket, but this is something that you couldn't figure it out by the word itself. This is what's known as an idiom. It doesn't exactly translate. Anybody know if something skyrockets, does it mean it goes up in the air? Don't know at all. It means it goes up very rapidly, and usually it's done in the context of the price of something. For example, if everybody wants an iPhone and there aren't enough iPhones, what happens to the price of iPhones? They skyrocket. Okay, and what they're saying in this article is if we don't have the honeybees to pollinate our food, it will cause the price of food to skyrocket. Okay, first we're going to read this aloud, and then I'm going to divide you into pairs, and I want you to read this to each other, and we'll go on from there. Okay, who hasn't said anything really at all? Anna, you've been so quiet. Would you start reading the first paragraph in The Disappearing Honeybee, starting with, do you run away when you hear a bee buzzing? Okay, Anna, take it away for us. Thank you.